around, but basically it's fine-grained control. So data is essentially being pulled out from system memory or the hard drive or what have you, as and when it's required. This means that the GPU has a much better way of allocating memory, and on top of that as well, HBCC much better allocates memory based upon what it really needs for a specific title. And Rajar himself pointed out that some games are really bad at memory allocation, and oftentimes you're only utilizing actually 25% of the memory that's on your GPU. As I said, you should check out the Scott Watson video if you want more information on that. Now, Rapid Pack Math was another thing that was shown, and it basically doubled the strands per second. Now, the demo was utilizing TressFX, which, full disclosure, well, I say disclosure, it's not a bad thing, we've already covered on the channel previously. So TressFX is, of course, AMD's solution for rendering hair, fur, grass, and other such things. It's basically organic. Now, what they did with Rapid Pack Math is to utilize the ability of and leverage the GPU to being able to pull out half-float operations at much faster rates. Raja Kodori did kind of illustrate this by saying that if you're paying for 64 compute units, which might have been a bit of the slip of the tongue to once again confirm that 64 is the high-end Vega part, we'll get to that in just a second, that you're essentially paying for 128 if the software is utilizing the technology, which is really the crux of the matter. Essentially, it does come down to games developers to utilize this, and if they're not, well, there you go. But if it is, in the case of this particular TressFX demo, you're basically utilizing half precision, which is FP16, rather than a 32-bit flow. For those who are not familiar with floating point, I have gone into this exhaustively before, especially in the PS4 Pro video, the Pro analysis. But basically, it simply means that it's less precise. You basically have less numbers of precision. So it's almost the equivalent of me saying to you, well, 1.0542. But if I was to remove a number from that, let's say 1.52 or 1.5, it's suddenly less and less precise. It's almost the equivalent of me saying, well, you owe me 100, you owe me 100 or 1,000 pounds, when it might be you owe me 1,200, but I'm just simply rounding it up to a single figure. It's basically less precise. The reason behind that, at least in this technology, is that it means that you can deal with more operations at once. It's basically packing them together, and it's essentially rendering them, executing them simultaneously, two operations of half-bit. In other words, FP16s could be executed as FP32, in other words, a full float in the same period of time. I am vastly simplifying it for this video because it's kind of a different topic. Now, Vega itself is going to be available for millions of users on launch day. Now, they're going to be doing this in very similar technology to GeForce Now. Essentially, it's going to be cloud streaming using what they call Radeon Virtualized Encoder, and this is combined with Liquid Sky. Now, we're not quite sure how the pricing structure is going to work, although they did say that if you interact with advertising with Liquid Sky, it will be free, although I'm not quite sure how that works, what time periods you get or anything like that. They've not really elaborated. But with this technology, you can stream, for example, using, I don't know, like a tablet, which could be kind of cool. It also might be nice if you're not a particularly hardcore PC gamer, and let's say, for sake of argument, you're typically a PS4 gamer or an Xbox gamer, and there is one or two PC games you really want to play a high resolution, then by golly gosh, you can do that. It also could be kind of cool if you're, for example, trying to dip your fingers into the 4K. You could say, okay, well, do I really want to pay and upgrade to this? In other words, it could be like a side way of doing it. Or, conversely, you might decide, well, you know what, I'm travelling to a business meeting, I'm on this train or bus or whatever, I feel like pewing something in the face, and, I really am getting sick and tired of Temple Run 3000. There might be that as well. However, let's talk about the name. Well, this one's nice and confusing, and by nice and confusing, I mean, well, it's really confusing to the point I'm not even sure how to begin to explain it. Because the name of the new Vega cards is not going to be the 490, it's not going to be the 590, so screw your search engine optimization websites. No, it's going to be called the Radeon RX Vega. Oh, you were waiting for something else? Well, so was I. But no, that's pretty much it. The Ration RX Vega. So, this kind of confuses me, to be honest, and I'm sure that these questions are going to be answered pretty soon.
Do you know the secret handshake? I bring life and hope.
Don't touch that! Well played.
I feast upon light.
Don't touch that!
Tazdingo! Yes!
Do you hear its call? Listen closely.
At last, a worthy disciple.
Soon, because immediately there's like, okay, does that mean it's only going to
I am
be
freed
Fury?
from the curse.
Like the equivalent of Fury? Because the rumours are, and I don't want to go into the whole rumour mill like for the own time, but basically the rumours are that Vega is going to be a product line. And the thing with Rajar said, and this is the thing that confused me further, is he said that he wants to make Vega cheap. Like one of the whole purposes of Vega is to bring down the product costs. And that basically goes hand in hand with Polaris, right? Okay, fair enough. The problem with that, well not the problem, but the thing that's confusing about that, is that, well, quite frankly speaking, I'm bamboozled. I'm bamboozled a lot, because if you've got, let's say, multiple, let's say you've got the Vega 11, Vega 10, Vega 11 was supposed to be the lower end SK using Vega 10, supposed to be the high end SK using off with the Furies, how does this work? And even the Fury, you've got the Fury and you've got the Fury X. essentially very similar cards. They've both got HP at 1, but obviously one has higher number of compute units and all that stuff. How that works, I just
Well played.
don't know. I don't know.
Well played.
So we're going to have to wait. I'm kind of confused on how they're going to elaborate on that name. I've got to say though, very off topic, at least in my opinion, the logo is gosh darn spiffy. Although I can't actually think of the technical term for them, so I'm just going to call them elongated triangles because my brain is fried today, if I'm totally honest. But that logo looks really similar to something else, and I cannot bloody well place it. So if someone can mention that to me on Facebook, that would be bloody appreciated. Because honestly, it looks like a robot design or something I've seen before, and I cannot quite place where I've seen it. It's really bugging the hell out of me. Anyway, I think that's about it for the Ryzen stuff. Yes, there was a crap ton of other stuff mentioned at Capsation. For example, the fact that they are doing a collaboration with Bethesda. Now, just to clarify, that is not going to be marketing, at least from what Roger has told us. This is going to be from the ground up. So we're going to see titles which are optimized for the Radeon and the Ryzen platform. What this means in reality, I just don't know. But it's probably going to mean, and I'm making an assumption here, not reality, it's probably going to mean that we're going to see much more optimization like we saw with Doom 4 or Doom, whatever you want to call it, where of course we saw Vega being highly utilized, sorry, not Vega, where we saw Vulkan being highly utilized, and we saw it running across much better across multiple cores. And Raja made this kind of joke where he said internally AMD now are saying that 8 is the new 4. Obviously a bit of a reference to the number of cores, in other words saying that 4 cores is kind of old now, 8 cores is where it's at. And obviously with modern APIs and modern game engines being wrote from the ground up, like we saw the guys from Oxide on stage, and they were basically confirming that new games, new modern engines which are wrote from the ground up, specifically with the idea of supporting modern APIs, in other words, you know, DirectX 12 and Vulkan, their performance, their scaling across cores goes up massively. Whereas I believe they said that actually the Singularity in its ilk hit about 70%, 80% across multiple cores. That's CPU usage. With the modern one, you can get up to like 90 to 100%, which is really impressive. Anyway, I am somewhat waxing lyrically, and there is a lot of other stuff we could go through in Capsation, but frankly I don't know if I will, because a lot of it was to do with virtual reality. But if you're interested in that, you know, we can go through it. Let me know. Let me know on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you want to do. But I do want to talk briefly about Ryzen. There are a few other Ryzen rumours. Quite frankly, it's quite late here in the UK, and I'm very tired. I've had a very, very, very long day today. And I know that's a crappy excuse, but unfortunately, Paul wants to do X, body and brain are telling me no, so there's limitations, which kind of suck. But anyway. So anyway, I don't know why I keep saying anyway, that's a sure sign that I'm tired. The Ryzen 7 1800X has been overclocked to 4 GHz across all 8 cores. Now this comes to us from the Chinese forum Chip Hell. I want to emphasize this is not an official benchmark. This is not something that someone's created in, you know, on YouTube. This is not something where, you know, someone has been verified. This is just, you know, some random dude on the internet. So it's up to you if you decide to believe this is accurate, genuine. Regardless, there was no mention of the cooler used, which is a bit of a shame, but it does appear that a 4 GHz is likely achievable. This is based upon all the information we've heard before. AMD, Overclockers UK confirmed that they've hit 4 GHz quite comfortably on the 1700, let alone the 1800X. So yeah, I'm going to assume this is quite comfortable. And you're looking at around 8%-ish performance boost, which is not shabby. That's pretty much spitting distance of the 6950X. Bear in mind, just for clarification's sake, the 6950X costs, well, 3 times more. So that's pretty damn nice. There are some other rumours as well that are swirling around, but to be honest now, we're so close to March the 2nd, it's looking like we should be okay for our samples. From what I can understand from the shipping manifest that I'm reading, the cooler has been dispatched. That was a bitch, by the way, just for your FYI. I'm going to warn you, this is completely off topic, so if you're done with the video, you know, all the technical stuff, you can by all means skip out the video, and thanks for watching. Just as a warning on the cooler side of things, they are a fucking bitch. Excuse the language, but seriously, I just want to warn you. Some companies, some shops, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to, get in trouble, but some are reporting that they are selling AM4 compatible coolers. That is technically true, insofar as to say that, if I was to sell you, I don't know, £100 motherboard, it is compatible with, I don't know, a 7700K. It just doesn't come with the clamp. In other words, you have to either send off to the motherboard, the AIO manufacturer separately, or you have to buy it from them. And not all of them are doing this. A couple of retailers are good. They are doing it. Like, and I'm not advocating a company here. I just want to stress this. We are ordering from Overclockers UK with our cooler, and I can't remember the exact model that we went with because Amy bought it because I was at work at the time, so sorry about that. But basically we bought one and there's only a few left, so the coolers for these things aren't the issue. It's the actual clamps which are being a pain in the asshole. Now, what I can understand, I was speaking to a couple of other folks on Facebook about this, if you happen to have a cooler already that supports, or technically can support, let's say on the Corsair lineup, if you already have that cooler, you can buy or get sent for free the clamp, depending on the company you're going with, which basically adheres the cooler to the motherboard. However, in many cases you're going to have to provide proof that you've bought Ryzen. So that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention if you are thinking of buying it, because, I just don't want you to be basically screwed. And that's about it. Aside from that, the motherboard, the processor, looks like they're going to ship. And so that's a good thing. Apparently, it's going to arrive on March the 2nd, so we should have Ryzen. So, yeah, that should be cool. Anyway, I am going to let you all go. As I said, it's been a bit of a hickledy-pickledy day today. I'm really sorry, I'm just pretty tired, so it's not going to be quite up to my usual standards, but I want to put this up anyway. Over the next couple of days, we will be absolutely ridiculously busy. However, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, and I know I've not messaged many of you back on Facebook the last couple of days. It's just because insane busy levels, like Tuesday and Wednesday for me, are literally evil. So, I shall be back as normal. But with all of that said, thank you all for the support. I will see you soon, because, we are pretty consistent here. And once again, thanks for all the support, the messages. It means an awful lot to us. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.
One for the boss, two for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul, and in this Game.com video we're going to be discussing both the GTX 1080 Ti possible release date, as well as AMD's Ryzen range of processors, where we'll be tackling the fact that it has actually set a record in Cinebench, and also some information on Ryzen 3 and Ryzen 5, and a few other bits and bobs besides. So we'll start things out with the 1080 Ti. So, naturally we've been anticipating the launch of the Ti for some time now, but finally there is a countdown on GeForce.com, as we already discussed just yesterday. But sources have popped up which have stated that the launch will happen in mid-March. This, by the way, is also an article which you can check out in the video's description. But there are a couple of caveats to this. Apparently, some AIB partners are expressing some concerns regarding the Founders Edition of the card. Basically, what they're saying is, if you believe the, water cooler whispers, that Nvidia will be the only seller of the Founders Edition. And on top of that, Nvidia will be releasing the Founders Edition first, with the, custom variants coming maybe a week or so later on. Obviously that could possibly change, and these are only whispers, and supposedly a source to videocards.com, although it's only a single source, also said Nvidia are preparing a GTX 1060 Ti, which we can assume will fall between the performance of both the 1060 and the 1070, but they are not 100% convinced that those rumours are genuine, so we'll have to just wait and see. It's kind of weird, to be honest, if this is accurate regarding the 1080 Ti Founders Edition being kind of exclusive, and it does somewhat remind me of the 3DFX fiascos. So for those of you who don't remember back to the late 90s, early 2000s, 3DFX used to provide chips, much like AMD and Nvidia do now, to, let's say, the likes of Creative or whomever else, and then those companies would then produce their own custom versions of the card. Basically, 3DFX decided they wouldn't want to do that anymore, cut out the middleman, and they acquired STB. And once they did that, they basically produced and then sold their own cards. So, for example, the Voodoo 2, you could get a creative version of it, which I did. I had the creative Voodoo 2 Blaster, 12 megabytes, thank you very much. And then when you went to buy the 3DFX Voodoo 3, there was only the 3DFX version available. Now this was kind of weird, because what it essentially does is it means that Nvidia, much like 3DFX, would basically be competing against AIBs. There was a bit of a screw-up, actually, at an Nvidia event. I don't remember which one it was. I believe it was when the Pascal was first announced. So you're going to have to do some digging on this. But basically, there was some confusion regarding the Founders Edition. And essentially what was said is, members of the press said to Nvidia, asked them, so why would Nvidia charge more for the Founders Edition cards? Nvidia responded, that means it's because it was made from the highest materials and highest quality possible. And then they said, well, in that case, are you telling us that your versions of the card are higher quality than your partners, than your AIB partners? And Nvidia kind of floundered on stage. You could see them very uncomfortably shift, because I hadn't expected that question. And it's even stranger because Vega, and we're going into theoretical, stuff here, is supposedly outperforming the 1080 Ti, the 1080 with dodgy drivers, basically very unoptimized drivers, and supposedly it's performing really well from the tests that we're starting to see, and AMD are very confident in the part. And this has meant that certain companies who have been very loyal to Nvidia, I believe it was EVGA being one of them, are actually considering not jumping ship entirely, but kind of offering both parts. So it's like, if they did that, it makes it even trickier, because if you don't have a Founders